Well, hello, universe, and welcome to my corner of it. Today, we're just going to play some games. This weekend was a little weird for me, and I got some things done, but I didn't get some other things. It's been a funny weekend, and with the Queen passing last week, and all of the television coverage here of everything, including memorial services and proclamations and well, it's all happening here. And of course, it hasn't happened for over 70 years. So it's a very, very long time. Um, I never got to meet the Queen, but I certainly participated in a minorly major way in one of the jubilees a few years ago, and was part of a very large music new piece that was being presented for the Queen that she attended. I was helping to prepare a very, very large choir um, of schools and adult singers and with orchestra, and it was kind of an amazing day. As I recall, it rained. We were in the what do you call it? Oh gosh, my brain has gone totally numb. Greenwich. That's where we were. We were in Greenwich, and I remember driving down to Greenwich because I live uh, on the other side of London, basically. And when you go from the west side to the east side of London, it's not a short journey by car. It's not a short journey by public transport. But it was an outside event. There was a large awning over the choir and orchestra, and a colleague of mine was conducting the orchestra, and that was quite wonderful. I mean, he was just amazing. The piece was quite nice. And the kids enjoyed singing it, and of course, they all enjoyed being there for Her Majesty's Jubilee. And Greenwich is such a historic city. Anyway, it's a lovely place to visit. If you ever get a chance to get to London, um, go and visit Greenwich. Just have a walk around the streets. It's quite a stunning place. Anyway, um, and we rehearsed quite a lot there. In fact, it was quite funny. It was the year that they were filming the Miserables, Les Miserables. Sorry, the Miserables, and they were shooting in Greenwich, and the place that I was rehearsing was just right next to where they were shooting quite a lot of the outdoor scenes, and I was there for quite a lot of it, and I remember the giant elephant thing. In fact, it was funny. At the end of the project, I think it might have been that very same day. I was coming home after doing the performance and traveling down the motorway. I was on the M25, and ahead of me was this elephant that was being transported somewhere. Obviously, it was no longer needed because the filming was done there. But um, a few miles later, I gathered it had either fallen apart or fallen off, and so here was this broken elephant on the side of the road. Really quite sad because it was quite a wonderful thing. So it was kind of an interesting time to be in Greenwich for that. The one of the things that I remember the most on the Jubilee Day is I actually had parking that day because I was not important, but semi-importantly needed for the choirs. So I had assigned parking, which was huge. It was an amazing thing to have assigned parking. One of my favorite things in the world. And as I was traveling, the when the filming was taking place, they were using horses outside, and some of the places that they went, the horses had, even though they had covered up the grass in a number of places, it had died and it was very brown underneath. And I remember that morning driving in, and they were actually either reseeding or painting the grass so that the queen would never have to see a bald patch, I suppose. Or it was just the weirdest thing to see these guys spraying the grass. And I'm assuming it was paint. It may have been new seeds or something, but it was just bizarre. And it was an interesting kind of day, as I recall. In fact, I think it rained. I have a memory of it having rained, and I don't think we all got wet, but I think that the public may have gotten a little bit drenched that day. And I did get to see the Queen. She was very small in the distance. Um, it was a bit like going to Wembley and seeing Simon and Garfunkel on tour years and years ago. And yes, I was there, and yes, I saw them, but they were about, from my distance, about an inch high. I think the Queen was about 3 inches high. I was close enough to see her that close. And Prince Philip was there, and several other members of government. And it was a memorable day. It was one of those, having lived here for so long and to have the career that I've had, which you'll guess is in music, yes, it is and was. The thing is that if I had stayed in the United States, I would have had to go to university and get my master's. I would have had to get my doctorate, and I would probably have to be affiliated to a university and be doing research to do even half of what I was allowed to do here during the majority. I had no idea that I would get to do the things that I got to do here. It was, well, I came over in 1980-ish and taught at an international school. And the international school was K through 12, which was kind of my niche. And the first year I was just teaching K through 6, and I think the next year it went to through to the high school. Although I didn't teach a lot of high school classes, I eventually helped with the drama course there and the choirs and etc. But I also did one other thing when I first moved here, is that I auditioned for the London Symphony Chorus, and I got in, which was great. And the conductor at the time was Richard Hickox, who was just lovely, really lovely. I had a lovely audition with him, and I'm always going to be grateful to that man for allowing me to be in the choir. And the thing is it meant that I would have to go into town probably a couple of times a week for rehearsals, at least once, but then there would be conductor rehearsals and orchestral rehearsals and then performances, and it was quite a large commitment. But as a young person, first moving to London, it meant that I would meet a whole lot of people, which was great. But it also meant that I was able to do some of the finest masterworks of choral orchestral literature that you could imagine doing. I traveled with them. We went to Russia. We went to Paris. Did we go somewhere else? We did recordings. I recorded with Previn, which was at Abbey Road. I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing. And I had a wonderful group of friends from the choir at that time. And we sang not just in London Symphony Chorus, eventually we all sang in other choirs as well. And I was out a lot of days of the week rehearsing and looking at music, and it was astounding. And it was, even though at my university there were a couple of very well-known composers, and we did first premieres of their works, is that we did so many premieres with London Symphony Chorus. one of which I remember was John Tavener. I got to be conducted by Claudio Abbado. Um, I went with Abbado to Paris, of course, me and 100 other singers or thereabouts, because it was the women. We were going to do one of the Mahlers, and the soloist for that recording, for that performance rather, was Jesse Norman, which was just astounding to be that close. You got to be close to really, really fine singers. It was magic, and I am ever grateful for that time. And got to do a last night of the proms and a couple of other proms, and I got to sing material that I would never have gotten to do at university. We tended to do, it was a well-known university. I went to Valparaiso University in Indiana, it's Lutheran University, but we tended to do one major work a year, and my favorite one was the Poulenc Gloria, which my history includes having played in the orchestra, having sung in the choir, and being the soprano soloist when I came over here for that, which was magic. The only thing I haven't done is conduct it. I'll just put the word yet on there. I think it's unlikely that I'll get a chance to conduct it, but it was a beautifully magic piece, and I thoroughly enjoyed all three parts that I did. I think I was a piccolo player. I can't even remember. It's been such a long time. But then we came to the recordings. There was a year that we did requiems, tons of requiems, and that was fun. How can a requiem be fun? But they're magic. I remember doing I think we did the Mozart and the Fauré, and there was a third one. I can't remember. Anyway, I suppose that was one of the things about being in London and singing with so many choirs and working as a music educator, or the term that they use a lot here is animateur. I was a British Federation of Young Choirs animateur for a number of years, published some beginning choral materials for them through Music Sales, which is Junior Choral Club, some of which the pieces are brilliant and some of which are not so. It just led the things that happen in your life that look so linear from this part of your career, coming over here, teaching in an international school, which all of that entails, with a totally different group of people, which are not all Americans. Even though it's an American system school, it's not necessarily an American school because of the nationalities involved and how frequently the student population turns over, or vast numbers of them change every year because families move. And then joining London Symphony Chorus, and then singing semi-pro with a little ensemble that did sort of musicals, musical evenings, but they were songs from shows. That was fun. I thoroughly loved that, and getting to sing at events, very important dances and dinners, and oh, excuse me. I think there could be a second one of those coming up, but we'll see. And then being as an animateur, preparing young singers and just everybody for new pieces, premieres all over the country. I did a lot of that. I worked for a very long time with the BBC Singers, not as a singer, but as an animateur, and generous group of people who were very kind to me, and I was able to I was invited and gave them a workshop in elementary techniques and the process of working with younger voices, and how to make it very clear to them and to help their voices develop and make the best out of what they have. Or So there was a lot of that. I sang professionally with a group called Vocem for a number of years, which always terrified me. I think I didn't really come into my own as a singer until I was 45 or 50 because I was just so scared all the time. I was afraid of making mistakes. And these days, I'm not so afraid of making mistakes. I think when I hit 50, that was the moment that I realized that I didn't care. And my voice changed at that point. It just became much more relaxed, and I didn't worry so much about making mistakes. I just did, and still do. In fact, I'll be singing later today because I make teach tapes for my choir, for my adult community choir, and we're about to go into the autumn term with them. So I need to get the music up on. I use something called Padlet, which I find really, really useful, and they even the least technologically happy members of my choir can generally deal with that pretty well. So I'm quite happy about that as well. But it's that thing of you just don't know where your career is going to take you, with the opportunities that will come up for you. When we were back at, when I first came over and was teaching, the school was frequently visited by film people who were looking for actors or kids or whatever to film whatever or be in theater productions. We had one of the first voices for the roller skating show, which I can't remember now. Anyway, we had one of the kids was a voiceover. I'm going to just decline that for the moment. I chaperoned a group of kids to a film set for a day over the Christmas holidays, who were doing a film called Scream for Help or something. Anyway, I think it was a sort of a slasher film, and it was Michael Winner. Michael Winner was the director, and eventually they started the day, and then they decided they needed some extra people on set, so I became an extra, talking to my students in the hallways as you would do, totally within my comfort zone. And one of the only regrets I ever had was I was called over to Michael Winner and a small group of people and asked if I would come back the next day to do some filming, and I didn't take him up on it, and I should have done. But hey, some days you just need to bake Christmas cookies, and so I did. But that's the one I missed, and I did see the film, and I was in it for about I think about 2.5 seconds if you look really, really carefully. The ensemble Vocem that I worked with during that time, those were all premiere pieces from contemporary composers. It was pretty much contemporary music, and worked with, I like to think that Judith Weir was my career. I did several premieres of her work, two of which were operas that were filmed and televised. Heaven Ablaze, and that was with a dance ensemble. And the biggest thing I remember about that, other than the fact that it was fun to do and the filming was fun, but my outfit was, I looked like a 40-year-old Heidi with a dirndl skirt and my hair in plaits, but the plaits were in circles and piled on top of my head, and it was filmed with a dance company, which was just amazing. And I remember we got to waltz, and I had a lovely partner. And because my skirt had 15 yards of fabric or meters of fabric, it really just it just swished so nice, and as you turned, it flowed out. It was everything that those kind of dresses should be, um, and the folk feel to it. That was an interesting filming. I enjoyed that. And the second one was it was also a Judith Weir piece, but the BBC had commissioned a series of pieces for the Not Mozart season, which was in anniversary of one of Mozart's birthdays. And Judith had chosen to base hers on the Scipio opera of Mozart. And so it was called Scipio's Dream, and it was a very small cast, um, uh, and the chorus was the six of us who were the singers. And even though there was a group that lip synced, anyway, I got to be a goddess. I was a goddess with it was sort of Boadicea with very large hair. It was fun, and it was a magic time. It was really, really magic, and we recorded in and around London. A former student of mine, when I was teaching, I went in to teach at a private school in Dulwich at St. Dunstan's. I came in for a for a term when one of the teachers was off ill. I've done that quite a lot in my career, is come in and do short stints for various people. And it was the first time I'd been at a school that had vampire capes and wore them daily. And so I got to be in the school picture. Well, they all had these amazing robes and mortarboards and all that stuff. And I had my little polyester robe from my university graduation. Not quite the same thing, but it was a fun time. That school was magic. Of all the teaching in schools that I ever did, St. Dunstan's was my favorite. Just that one term. It's going to make me cry. I was teaching the lower school, and I had my little room, and it was an all-boys school at the time. It's now become co-ed. The music department was very, very welcoming, and I was very grateful about that. And in the term, I was there for the spring term, and quite a lot of the spring term was given up to the lower school doing their play. Well, this was not an ordinary school play. They were doing Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and they built an entire ship. No, I'm not talking about a little boat. I'm talking about a ship in the hall, which held a gazillion people. And one of the music teachers wrote the music for it. And on the day that I left, my last day, it's going to make me cry. I was called to the hall for assembly and went to the assembly, called up on stage, and they gave me some prezzies, which was lovely. And they all sang to me one of the songs. And it was just magic, absolutely magic. And we're talking, this was probably 30 years ago now. And it still hits me every time I think about it. A lovely school, wonderful bunch of people and teachers. And the first time I'd really taught any time in a British school. Quick aside, the day that I went in for the interview, I'd never been to a British interview for schools before. So I went to the interview, and all of the interviewees were there. All of us. We were all sitting in the foyer. And then we were taken around and spent time with the head teacher, the music teacher, the lower school head, the head teacher of the school. There were 5 or 6 people that we all spent time with and went around. And I, at the end of this, it was several hours that you were being interviewed by all these people and being taken around to the school and shown the school a bit. You're all sitting there in the foyer again, and then somebody comes out and calls one of your names, and that person goes in and chats with the head teacher, and you have the job. And it's announced in front of the other contenders, I guess. And it was just for a term because, as I say, the lower school teacher was out for a term because she was ill and having an operation. She was going to be fine. It just needed to take some time. And they came out and they called my name, and it was just weird, so weird, because here's all those people, and you're kind of going, yay, I won, and oops, I'm in front of everybody else. I can't look, and you can't sort of say, gosh, everybody, I'm sorry, because you won the job. Just weird. It was just weird. So I went in and talked to the head teacher, and he gave me all of the ups and downs and how much the position would pay and the time, and I thought it was reasonably generous. And so, of course, I said, yes, I would be delighted to take this position, and it worked very well. The ensemble I was singing with was project-based, and so I had I had the time, and certainly the money was welcome, and it seemed like a nice enough place to go. And so, of course, I accepted. And on my first day on the job, I went in to see the bursar. And the bursar sat me down and said, look, I'm really sorry, but the head teacher the head of school has given you the wrong information as to how much you will be making. It's actually 2/3 or half of whatever he'd stated. And I thought it was fairly generous, but it was a private school, and what did I know? And I still wanted the job, and so we made some concessions, minor ones, and so I went. So they helped pay for travel, which I drove because it was just easier that way. And because they didn't normally pay travel, but because they'd made this mistake, this huge mistake, and I was being nice about it, it was all fine. And it was one of those schools where it was the first time is that during break you had tea in the common room. But in this particular common room, you were served. You didn't just go get a coffee. You were served your coffee. There was someone there to... It was just so... It was amazing. But they're all really nice with it, and lunches were amazing. It was the first time because I was still fairly new to the country, I think, and I had there was a high table at lunch, which I very seldom sat at the high table because it was just, for me, it just felt one step too far. So I usually sat with the kids or with the teachers at one of the lower tables, which was perfectly fine. But things like Spotted Dick, I got fat that year because they had the most amazing desserts for lunch. I mean, we're talking custards and jellies, and it was astounding. Gosh, that was a digression from where I started, wasn't it? Well, but there you go. It's that thing of you never know when you choose a career where that career will take you, and the choices that you make or things that become available to you. All of this happened because I moved here. I was one of the few people in the country who had the training and some orphan Kodály work and a degree in music education, which was not, most classroom teachers here when I came over who were teaching music were just classroom teachers who were non-specialist. This country was built for me at that time, and I got to do some amazing things that would never have happened had I stayed home. Right. Oh dear, it's been a interesting weekend. I'll clean up this podcast. I'm sorry it's not going to be, oh, we've got a couple of minutes. What do you say we play one game before then? So here we go. I'll just claim that one. Let's watch me die. I think, no, I don't want that one. I will be that legend. So where are we? And a ranked match. We'll go ranked. It's just matchmaking for that. I had to turn down off. And I'm going to pick up some stuff. What else have we got? Anything? Anything. Way of the Wolf. No, I'm not going to do those today. Log in. I'll take that. Thank you. I'm really quite enjoying the Apex Legends. I play it a little bit every day. I try and do all my dailies. I am in guild or club bugs. We are bugs, which on the leaderboard at the moment is we've moved up. We're number 16. We were number 17 before. Not that it much matters, but it's kind of nice. I like when it happens. Oops, they're complete. Here we go. And let's see what we got. We'll probably get some peripheral sound because I do want some sound because I can hear. Do 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 do. Let's see if I get to keep my character. I like the maps. I like the gameplay. And now that I know how everything works, it's kind of better. I'm just going to request that. Thank you. Somebody's just traded off so I can have the one I want, which is good. And here we go. We're going to doing this without sound on the pad, but we'll see how we go. Here we go. Yes, I like Wraith because she's the only one who has any gray hair, and mine is now that long. So, oh gosh. Okay, Kurt Pickering. Where are we going to jump? Here we go. He's coming to artillery, and I just want to go a little bit further, so... Ooh, thank you. Now all I need is a weapon would be good. Let's see if I can pick up a weapon here that's any good. G7. Ugh. Not my favorite weapon. But it'll do. Ooh, and a nice helmet. Thank you. That'll do nicely. I still have rubbish weapons, so we'll see what we got. swing over and see if we can help him out. Star end, that'll do. Oops. Did they get them both? Let's see. They did. Excellent. And there's another box. Let's see if there's anything there worth looting. And check out down here. Nope, nothing there worth having. Do 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 do. Aha. Not mine. Coming, boys? Or are we gonna just sort of at 45 seconds here, which is not really a lot of time? La 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 la. Oh, R99 will have that. That'd be good. Right now I have a set of decent weapons. What do you think? Should we go somewhere else? I'll go follow him. Interesting name. OQ, OQ, O. Oops, is somebody hurt here? What's going on? Okay. Go up the slide. Why are we over here, fellas? Played a ranked match yesterday. I won. I only killed one person, and it was the last person. I'll bet they were ticked. That was a fun match, actually. I did some damage to others, but it was just kind of a weird match. The map is really huge, so sometimes you can run and not see anybody for a very long time. Head up and stay together-ish. The jumping is good, and I really like the way it slides. It slides great, and if you're going down a hill, it just keeps sliding until you get to the bottom, which is kind of nice. What are you doing, Kurt? Are you hiding in the bushes? I can't hear you because I'm recording at the moment. It's all weird. I know what I'm going to do. I think we'll put out one of those. Those are kind of cool because when you come close, it says who you are. Every game has its own little foibles, little fun things it does. I don't need to buy anything because I have nice things here. Yikes, this is weird. I haven't seen anybody yet. Still 10 squads though. These can be quite long games, which is quite nice because like I said, it's a very large map. We changed map from the first season to the second season, but we're using the same map for the third season, R99. Yeah, that's what I've got. So it's all good. Nope, I don't need any more weapons. I'm good to go. There we go. Put on my running shoes. Let's do that slidey thing. It's cool. And go this way. Okay. Ooh. Cool. Care package. Usually nice things in the care package. Let's see what's in. Side. Nothing for me. Nothing I need. And I think we'll do some more running. Into the void. Each one of the legends has a different superpower, I guess. It's Sam. He's here somewhere. And there's gone. Whew, nice. That'll do. And let's use that. Oops, time to help the guy. At least you got one kill. That's not brilliant, but one is better than nothing. Don't need that either. I like the L-Star, but that's just me. Ooh, nice. I will have that. Why, thank you. I am now purple. Purple is better. There we go. I'm a little behind, but I'll catch up. Need to get back in the circle. And then we're back in the circle. Hooray. Safe for the next round. 5 squads left. Yikes. Oops, something's coming in. Care package. Yay. You see a little dot up in the sky. That's where it's coming in from. It takes a little while to get here. I'm going to wait for it. Oops, coming in. If I stand underneath, it'll kill me. Oh no, it's the replicator. I don't need a replicator. Thought it might be a care package. Never mind. Go join the others. Yes, I play with my window open. Four squads. Yay. Even better. The Shattered Forest. Okay. Slide down the hill. Hydro Dam. That's better. You have that one. Good. That'll do. He's now got a gold. Oops. Let's go help. Ooh, gosh. Oh, one of them's dead. Oops, we're all dead. Oh well. 24 rank points. Never mind. Right. Well, that's it. I need to get off and start recording for today. You guys all have a good day out there, and from my universe to yours, have a good one.